3, 2, 1.
Check it out.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, First, I want to apologize about today. Me and Kron, we have a vision, and we want to provide knowledge for free. And we want to provide, a server that's free with teaching and camaraderie and support and alerts, to help teach and, help people make money. And our mods and our teams, feel the exact same way. They share that vision. And we're so grateful for everything that they do. I mean, we would die without them. And, very, very strict policy of not selling anything. We don't charge at all. We put money into it. I pay monthly things for the bot and for the stuff to make the certificates for the classes. Kron has put a nice chunk of money into having, PowerPoints professionally made and videos made. We're going to use our own money to give out, the quarter quiz prize winners. We don't charge or ask for anything, and we never will. We put our own money into it. We want to make our money off the market, and we want to help others, and we want to do it for free. And I made that very well known and clear to a member, very well known, because he's known to sell stuff. And I said that from the beginning. He said, no, I want to use your chat, to give back. Yours is going to be my opportunity to give back to communities, because he's got his own server with his paid and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, great. Perfect. You want to use us to be that good you put into the world? Fantastic. And so, I'm not going to sit here and us shovel money into this because we care and we want to help. And then someone coming here and try to make money off people. No. Policy, never, ever, ever charge or ask for money. That is the number one rule. No. And for me not to vet something and make sure that my people are going to be taken care of, you got me effed up. I'm no. I have to make sure if things are going to be posted that it's not. We have very new members here, very baby trader members that are looking to learn and be successful in the best way and, can be bamboozled with that stuff. No, I won't allow it. And so I apologize for the outburst in chat today. I maybe should have taken it to the DM. I maybe should not have. People have their own opinions on that. But yeah, when it comes to protecting y'all and protecting what we've built and sticking to our passion and our goal of having things completely free, I will go off. And so I apologize for that. I just wanted to let y'all know that first and foremost. And then, so we're having a class on RSI today. I don't think we have any major server updates. Y'all will see in the education section, I'm kind of trying to update our index sections with all the awesome, because members are constantly posting awesome videos and book links and all that in education resources. That's what it's for people to post. And then, every once in a while I try to go back and re-index and organize it, because we're a teaching server, that's what we're here for. That's what we do. And so, I'm so grateful to all of you who add to the education resources. And so you'll see that looking a little weird right now as I reorganize it. But that's it. No other updates. I am going to let Kron take over. He is the RSI king, and we will jump into it. Unless anybody has any comments or concerns. If you want to, say your piece to me, don't agree with what I did, y'all the members chat for you. Go right on ahead. Like I said, I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to add real quick that it's nice to see the crypto chat is going. It started off better this time. This is the second time we tried a crypto section. I'm really glad it's being used. And I also want to remind everyone that we have the member alert section. We have a bot where anyone can make alerts on their trades. And of course, as the bot says, it's not financial advice. You are not telling anyone to take the trade. But it's been very little used the last couple of weeks. So I hope people start to use it again, because and maybe we should set a good example and start to alert some place. Because even if it's not meant that you should like YOLO on the member alerts, it's a good like base for a discussion. Why did you take the trade? How did it go? And so on. So I hope people will start to use it again. Because some people did, and actually some of the trades there went pretty good. So
Did Richie had some good
yeah,
ones?
yeah,
Brian had some good ones. Yeah, it's gone really well.
yeah.
And real quick, I'm sorry for our new people. You can speak if you feel comfortable speaking. You're more than welcome to unmute yourself and speak. But also, if you don't, we have a text channel that is just for the class. And we also, have our quiz answers put there as well. So I will post in Trading Ground right now a screenshot of how to get to it in case you don't know how to get to it. So you can be communicating through voice throughout class, or you can be communicating through the text channel throughout class.
Yep. So I'll start going, and I won't be able to see the chat while I'm looking at my PowerPoint. So if any questions pop up, please interrupt me so I know when to stop.
I can also answer some for you if you need to.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And as usual, the usual disclaimer, we still follow the book. And if you want a copy of the book, you can DM me after class. And I can send a link to the book. Also, I know some people have ordered it, and that's great to support the writer. So we will continue to follow the book, and there is always some people that will be like, "Oh my God, how can you talk about RSI without mentioning MACD and stuff like that?" But it's all coming. We are trying to take it one step at a time, and pretty slow pace. We are soon done with the book, and then we can rebase some more and take in your opinions on what to do next and stuff. But we have some stuff left and quite a lot of indicators, and RSI is one of them.
Also, real quick, I post the pre-homework under homework syllabus with the pages there. So, you don't have to purchase it. I post the pages. Cron can get you, the digital book. You don't have to purchase it. Just, get with us. We'll take care of you.
Yeah. And I know some members have written to me in the DMs and said that, wow, I have been trading for 5 years, but it was really good to read this again, even if it was stuff you more or less know, stuff you have forgot about or stuff you just take for granted or whatever. So
or things that you miss when you're
Yep.
learning. You're
Yep.
surprised by the little things that you're like, holy crap, I completely missed that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get started here with RSI. And this was the first indicator I used way back in the days. And I didn't use it quite correct. I'm going to be honest. I took for granted that it more or less just looked at the buying and selling power. And if it went above a certain number, it was overbought. And if it went under a certain number, it was oversold. And I survived longer than I should have on that information. But there is a lot more to RSI than meets the eye. So what is RSI? It's short for Relative Strength Index, and this is one of the most common and popular indicators. And I think a big reason for that is because it's quite easy to get into, at least if you do it the easy way with the overbought and oversold. But of course, it's also popular because it obviously works for a lot of people when they use it. And it's a momentum indicator, and it shows the direction and power of a price movement. Can be up or down. So this is what I talked about. This is like this is the first thing you encounter usually when people talk about RSI. It's that if it goes above 70, it's overbought. And if it goes below 30 or at 30, it's oversold. And a lot of people play using only this. I remember back in the meme stock days, RSI was a big thing on Reddit, and people said, "Oh, don't worry, it's overbought at the moment. Just look at the RSI. We are going to continue to shoot up." And sometimes that was very correct. RSI had to cool down, and then boom, the next attack upward. And sometimes it was quite wrong. There is this guy who said that GME was in a RSI pullback like 8 months ago, and he still holds on to that theory. So we are going to look at it a bit more in depth, because RSI is kind of similar to what we talked about with the moving averages, because it analyzes the last candles, and the basic setting have it analyze the 14 last candlesticks. And if you want to see the mathematical calculations, you can just Google RSI or look it up on Investopedia, for example. I'm not going to go into the mathematical terms, but it compares the average gains and losses of the candlesticks, and it gives us a number between 0 and 100. So if we have 14 candlesticks all shooting up green, we would have an RSI at 100. So here I have added the RSI to a basic chart on TradingView. The yellow line there is a simple moving average, so we don't have to pay attention to that at the moment. But the blue line is or is it purple? Purple, bluish. That's the RSI. And then we have the chart. Here it's Meta. And for those who have followed Meta, it had a big push in the end of November, beginning of December. And as you can see, the RSI shoots up when Meta climbs. You see the huge amount there of green candles. It had a lot of good days for the bulls before the drop. So of course RSI shot up, and then it went down quite quick and brutal. So RSI helps us to confirm a trend. And the book is very clear. It even calls it a myth, this 70 overbought, 30 oversold. Because what the author of the book argues, and I agree with him, you will be in big trouble if you always go in puts at 70 or in calls, for example, if you play options at 30, because it may just be the beginning of a huge buy or sell trend. And actually, if the RSI is at 70, it might confirm that, wow, this trend is really, really strong. Instead of, oh my God, this is overbought. You need to sell now. Run, get away. Look at this chart, for example. Let's say this is Bed Bath & Beyond. We know it had some huge movements in the past. We see here at this black dotted line, that's the 70 RSI. It shoots way above and the chart goes way up. If you have sold at 70, you would have missed this huge peak. And that's a reason why you should be careful with this overbought and oversold mentality. So, as the text said, a lot of people there probably missed that big push up because they thought that, oh my god, now a cool down is coming. We better sell. We had at least quite the upward run here, but it moved here when RSI was at 70, the price was around 13, and then it had a push up to, wow, 30 before it started to drop. Do we have any questions, or do you got that covered in the chat, Canadian?
I got it covered for the most part. So Crystal just asked a question. She asked, "How do you know when to stay in if it's over the 70-ish area?" To that, I would say that you don't really know. That's where
Yep.
that's where your risk management comes into play, right? So you can have places where you're going to take off a chunk of your size in the trade. For example, like, hey, I hit 70 or RSI hit 70. That's where I'll take off a bit, and then I might leave a couple runners. Or if you see it move into the 70 area and then come back under it, you're like, all right, but maybe this is when I need to get out. So it's not necessarily knowing if you can stay in the trade or not.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Other indicators, RSI, you want to use confluence with it. So when you're looking at the 70, 30, etc., you want to be looking at, other indicators that you're using. So you can have confluence. The same indicators telling you the same thing.
Yep. And this next page, I know some people have said, please don't take the charts from the book because they don't like the charts in the book. And I agree, but this chart I actually took from the book, so I'm sorry. But I think this is a really good chart to prove my point here on, because RSI can also help to confirm a breakout. Or of course, if it's going to go down, because if you look at this page, you see here that we have quite a clear resistance line. This is, let's see, it's the German index, actually, Deutschland 30. So it has tried, as you can see here, to push above multiple times and failed, creating quite a double bottom there, I would say. But it's been really easy to play this to the downside so far. We could have played these dips pretty easy because the line is so clear here. But then if we look at the RSI too, we see that for every push, the bulls are getting stronger. We have RSI at 55 here, they failed. Bam, it goes down. They try again. Now with more power, 61, failed. But then they go up with 68, can't really get over, and then with 74, they start a new uptrend. So this gives a double confirmation. We have strong buying power, and we see how the line is broken, and the German market, the German bulls are celebrating. So this is also kind of an answer to that. Look at different stuff and be cautious. Like an RSI at 70, and maybe it's time to okay, let's get prepared. Let's see what's going to happen. Is it going to break up? If it hadn't gone up here, I would have expected a real push down, maybe broken the support line and go. But the bulls actually made it here, and they came back. They were really trying to. You see, they get higher highs here on the RSI. And the book, since it's kind of skeptic to this 30-70 rule, it argues that RSI divergence may be the best way to use RSI. Notice when the price and the indicator don't match up. That's the divergence. And that may give us clues that a trend is about to change. A chart pushes up, but the RSI starts to drop or don't follow as aggressive, maybe a clue that, okay, something is going on here. So let's look at an example. We have good old Bitcoin here. And here we see a push to a new high, but buyers are getting a bit slower, but it's still pushing. And it pushes again. I didn't draw another line. But we see RSI, it drops slowly, but it drops. It got a new lower high. So the buyers are starting to step out. But the chart is pushing. It's not pushing super much, but quite a lot. Look, this was in the heydays of Bitcoin. And then we see a brutal drop. And I think it continued. I don't play Bitcoin a lot. I just short it from time to time. But I think this was the start of quite a brutal dip. And the RSI gave us some pretty good clues to that, since we got higher, lower highs all the way here. And yeah, buy at the top here would not have been fun. That's for sure. Okay, do we have any? I know I can be quite fast when I go through the pages, so please, if we have any questions or comments before I continue.
Remember, you can voice talk, or you can type in the text section. Many people, if you look in the text session, many people are speaking in there.
Yep. I'm trying to read up a bit here, but it seems you got most stuff covered, and we have some great examples there too of multiple convictions, like Yoda here shows, for example. And that's the thing. That's for those of you that didn't attend last class when we started, or the last two classes when we started talking about indicators. It's always good to have different indicators, but have them from different groups. So you don't have 4 indicators that reads momentum, because then you may have 4 indicators telling you to buy, and you get so darn sure that, oh my God, this can't be wrong. I have 4 indicators telling me to get in the trade. I'm gonna YOLO. I'm gonna bet the house on this trade. And then you don't have other indicators that can really mess up your game. And when it comes to indicator, what works for one person doesn't work for the other person. I know some people don't like RSI at all. And some people mainly trade on RSI. And just use that and 1 or 2 more indicators. But it's an each to his own. I like it because in my head, I actually see the bulls and the bears fighting. And I like the more psychological indicators. Because I'm not good at mathematics. I'm not like Whisper, for example, that can really make a calculation. At least in my mind, he can of anything. And that's not how my mind work. I need to like have the psychology factors.
And remember, like we've spoke about a lot, we're going to learn about different indicators. Knowledge is power. But remember, the suggestion is to just use a few. Maybe you have like 3 that you use. And maybe you may turn on another one briefly to get some extra confluence. Confluence means multiple indicators telling you the same thing. And everybody's brain is differently. We intake information differently, just like Kron said. We have our strong points, and then, Kron is a therapist. Psychology is his thing. And not everyone is going to use the same thing. It's whatever helps your brain to comprehend and understand the story that chart is telling you, right? So remember, I always preach, we're not saying turn on all these indicators you learn and use them. We're saying try them out, utilize them, and not just for a week. You're not going to get it just for a week. Try it out, utilize them, see what helps your brain to understand the story that is being said on that chart. Nothing is right or wrong. It is what helps you to comprehend what is going on that chart.
Yep. I totally agree. And it's kind of like Occam's razor. You scale away the stuff that you don't use. That is, getting too much input is not always a good thing. We have joked around with some charts that look crazy because there are like 20 indicators on it, and if that works for someone else, that's cool. I could never play like that. I need my charts as clean as possible. And there's no right or wrong. There are people making millions with one indicator. There are people making millions with 25 screens with different indicators and stuff.
Kron loves RSI. I do not like RSI. So, like we say, there's no right or wrong. It's what helps your brain to understand. Perfectly said, Kron.
Yeah. But when it comes to RSI, I think for the people that are new to indicators, that have just started to check out the indicators you can put on TradingView or Webull or whatever broker. All brokers I know of, you can add RSI, for example, and moving averages and stuff. You can start by just looking at the 70-30 and see what happens there. You don't play it, but just look and see if you see what I see, that a lot of times it gets overbought and it will be a cool down, or it gets oversold and so on, just to get in the mindset. And then you can start to add stuff and find your own way. But it's a good indicator for beginners, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's a good one because it's quite easy to follow, in my opinion. But each his own. Anyway, all indicators can be combined. RSI and MACD is like the classic best friends. And I know there are indicators to both free and that you pay for that combines RSI and MACD into one indicator, for example. But since we have talked about moving averages, we are going to look at a play from a person who uses RSI and moving averages, and this is a real play, so it's not something I made up. And some people are going to say, oh my god, I would never trade like this. And no, I wouldn't either, but this whatever works. Because this trader looks at 2 things. Here we have I think it's the 5 and 12 EMAs. And when they cross, because this person is a he, also looks at the RSI. He got one signal there and looks, oh, we got a nice uptrend here of buyers. Of course, he don't know this, but he knows up to here. This gives confirmation that this may be a good spot to get in. Then follows the uptrend. Quite nice gap there onto the next day. And then when it crossed, of course it crossed here, but not much. But then here we have quite the cross. And looking again at the RSI, and it looks like the buyers are starting to step out. So it's time for me to sell my calls on Tesla. So quite easy. Crossing over the EMAs and looking at the RSI for double confirmation. Also, this trader looks when RSI shoots up above the moving average. So for example, this would have been a great time to step in the play, even better than here. So that's just one example how you can combine two indicators for a play to get double confirmation, confluence. It's not what I use, it's not what I would use, but each his own, as I said. And now, as promised, we are gonna throw everything that has anything to do with RSI away, because I know it's not used in this play. But as promised, here comes this week's spy play. I think we will make this into a weekly thing. But maybe first, do we have any last question on the RSI before we move to the spy?
Remember, you can put in the text channel for the class, or you can speak, either way. But do make sure you saw my message in Trading Ground chat and you know how to get to the text section, because some people aren't comfortable speaking. And so to make it fair, the answers to the quiz have to be put in the text section versus, some speaking and some typing. So please make sure that you looked at that screenshot and you know how to get there so you can participate in the quiz. And for our new people, quarterly, we will be giving out a cash prize for the person that has the most quiz wins. I believe UK Rob is in the lead with 3, and he wasn't able to make it today, had a family thing. So y'all may actually have an opportunity to get one up on him. So if you look next to people's names, you'll see like a award number 1 symbol or whatever that shows how many wins that they have. So any questions?
Hey, Kron, I stepped away for a second there, but did you go over using RSI over different periods, like having it look over a different period of time?
No, you are free to add something there, because we have not looked a lot at using stuff on different time frames. But I know we get a lot of questions about that, so
Well,
please feel free.
more so, I'm talking about having RSI look backwards a certain period. So normally when you have RSI up here, it's looking back 14 periods.
Yep.
And depending on what time frame you're looking at it on, the 5 minute, the whatever time frame it is, if you reduce that period that RSI looks back, you'll start getting more signals. Now, yes, you'll get more signals, but those signals won't necessarily be 100% correct. So when we're in more of a less volatile market, like more of a bull market, where you kind of understand that, hey, we're going to be continuing up. If I have RSI up, my my look back period is anywhere from like 5 to 8 instead of 14.
Yeah.
And then currently, if I ever have RSI up, my look back period is about 20 to 22. That way, even though I'll get less signals from crosses, if I see them crossing the 70-30 or even though I'll get less of them, they'll be more accurate, if that makes sense.
You all follow? I take that as a yes. And there are a lot of information about this on, for example, YouTube, where people try different strategies with RSI and recommend different frames.
Also, we have our education section, which is under construction because I'm adding some, new awesome stuff that members have added. And so you can find some great stuff there. Normally it's indexed. You look at the bottom and it'll tell you, what section that is, and you just click on the blue link and it'll take you directly to it. So you don't have to just scroll and scroll and scroll through the whole thing to find it. But I'm updating it right now.
Great. So do you want to take over with your spy play before we
Sure.
do the quiz?
Yes. So first, I did not take this play, but I did speak about it in chat. Before it came up, I was like, I forget my exact message. I was like, I see it coming up on 397. Are we going to have a turnaround around that area? So on and so forth. If you know me, I'm very well known to play spy. That's pretty much all that I play. And a lot of people are, consistently asking me questions about my plays and how I did it, and et cetera, et cetera. So I figured I would share some, either the plays that I took or something I called out in chat, for others to see, what have you. So if you know, I use the 113 and the 200 EMA often. The 200 in this shot is the gray one, and the 113 is the yellow. So to me, spy plays by fives as psychological numbers. Bulls, bears will start protecting at least 2 points out. We had not broke 395 recently, barely broke 400. And that's why I had the first thought that we may turn around. The last cross of the 113 and 200 EMAs was a signal for the downside. As they move alongside each other, you see sometimes they get in a rhythm of either pulling the price to them or pushing further away as they move closer and further from each other. When SPY is in a strong downtrend, you tend to see big red candle followed by a few red candles, then a few green candles, and another big red candle for the next low. Not always, but this is something I've noticed often. And that changed in the trend. When we could not break 396, that was definitely a sign. However, I thought we would retest 399. We actually went to 401. So it was even a better play than what I had thought. There's some insight into, I guess, my brain on how I read SPY. And if you're not familiar, a lot of members are familiar. I noticed with the 113 and 200 EMAs, yes, I know there's the golden cross, and a lot of different EMAs do different things when they're going to cross. But this is the first time I've come across that it is kind of on a set schedule. It alternates. So when the 113 and 200 cross, or like the last time it crossed, we went on a downtrend. The next time it crosses, we're going to go on an uptrend, and the next down, and the next up, and the next down. I've researched way back. Canadian helped me, research way back. It's proven method. You do have to use extra confluence, because I've seen in one day where we were in a consolidation mode, and it crossed 4 times. But yes, each time it crossed, it went up or down, but barely. And so you have to wait for that extra confluence until that 4th time it crossed, and then it shot way up. And it can be 20. From the research I got, the longest in between that it crossed was 21 days. And then, the shortest amount of time that it crossed was 1 day. it would cross multiple times in one day. So you have to use extra confluence on that. And right now, last time it crossed, we're on a downtrend, and for lack of better terms, you'll kind of see the EMAs. I guess that's how I work it in my brain. The EMAs kind of suck the price up to it and then push it back down, and then suck the price up to it and push it back down. And so, just looking at that and looking how the candles move, because, I don't use a lot of indicators really. I don't. I just look at the psychological level aspect of it, and I love the 113 and the 200. And I do have the VWAP on often, though I don't look at it. But I do notice that it tends to stay within it pretty good. And just the psychological, and then how SPY moves. You'll see me comment a lot. SPY loves her dojis. She does. We always recommend that you learn 1 to 2 tickers very, very well. I know it sounds corny, but you can get to know the ticker's personality, right? You can get to know how it moves, how it reacts to things. And is it 100%? No, nothing in technical analysis or trading is 100% ever. Trust me, I worked for a bank. And when I started trading, I was like, they're like, oh, well, if, it could this, or if it could that. And I'm like, if, no. I want black and white. If it does this, it is for sure going to do this. If it does that, it's for sure. I work for a bank. I wanted black and white. I wanted clear. But that's not how this works. But if you arm yourself with this knowledge, then you will be more prepared to be more successful in the market and to be profitable. And so I forget what that terminology is. Because so many people use it, it tends to work out or whatever. So, but remember, nothing is 100%. But this is just, months and months. Even if I don't trade, I have, my computer open and I'm watching SPY. Even if I don't trade, I'm watching it. I'm knowing how she moves, what her personality is, what she's going to do. And, we do recommend you getting to know, 1 or 2 tickers, like very, very familiar. Did anybody have any questions? Patterns, yes. And what's so funny is when I was new, I'm still new. I've been trading less than a year, but I didn't know the names of all the candlestick formations, and I kind of came up with my own names. I would tell Con in the DM, I'm like, it's doing roller coaster bottom, or it's doing the shooting star, or I came up with one, it's called Sneaky Bitch. I'm like, it's doing Sneaky Bitch, she's fixing to go up, things like that, before I knew the proper names. But that just goes to show you how much I studied her and watched her and learned her. And so, we definitely recommend, I'm not saying only play 1 or 2 tickers, but, get to know 1 or 2, make that, your bread and butter. Watch it all day, every day. Well, when you can. I understand people have jobs, et cetera, et cetera. But, that is definitely a recommendation by myself. And I've heard, a lot of pro traders recommend that as well. What do we mean by confluence? Confluence means that multiple indicators are telling you the same thing. So, like, okay, so I use candlestick formations and the EMAs. So I guess candlestick formations isn't technically an indicator, but the candlesticks, the way they were moving, the psychological level of it, and the EMAs, those were 3 different things that told me we were going to go up. You may use RSI and what's some other ones? RSI and Bollinger Bands, right? And the RSI and the Bollinger Bands are both telling you it's gonna go up, right? So, or it's gonna go down. That's confluence. That's multiple indicators telling you that it's going to do a certain thing. Confluence is definitely good to have. You want to have, more than one thing telling you it's gonna do, etc. Confirmation would be a better term, but because we have noticed a lot of times in YouTube videos or books or what have you, they utilize these other words. And so I try to go off of my experience, right? And so I remember being in new chats and seeing words that I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I mean, to this day with Whisper, I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And I will go and look up what words mean. And so in classes, when we teach, we try to show those other words so that when new traders are either watching a video or reading a book or watching us talk in chat, they have an understanding of what we're saying.
So I would like to say that actually, I think confluence would be the better term, because when you're looking for confirmation, you're generally looking at it from one indicator, right? Or like one indicator to the next. Confluence, like Kron says, combines the different strategies together. So you're looking for confirmation across multiple. So that's confluence.
Thank you for correcting me. You're right. Confirmation would be like a breakout or something like that would be confirmation. A breakout from a cup and handle or triple bottom, things like that. The breakouts. And remember, you want to see at least especially when you're new, if you're going to enter a trade based on information or what have you, and you're waiting for that confirmation. You want at least 2 to 3 candles for that confirmation. Don't wait for just one candle to go over, because remember, they like to trick us. The whole point of those charts is they're trying to trick us. But if you learn how to read it, you have more of a chance of not being tricked and actually making money.
Yep. Okay, so we just have 10 minutes for the quiz.
Okay, so quiz time. So again, make sure y'all can all, get in the text channel. I will read the question and then I will post a picture of the question in chat. You can answer already. Whenever you feel like you know the answer. And be prepared because answers do be flying through here. So let's get started with our quiz. Sometimes people put answers before I even finish reading it. So our first question, and I always get these out of order, so let's see if I can do it correctly. All right, y'all ready to go?
Hey.
What does RSI stand for? Relative Strength Index. Brian got it. You gonna keep track of points? Yes. Brian won. Okay. Yes. So the first one to get the answer gets it, but still keep sending them out. That's awesome. I love to see the involvement. Some people know I've cried so much. I'm like, oh my God, they're getting so involved. They're learning. I love it. Okay. Number 2. And there's 8 questions. How many candlesticks do RSI count on the standard setting? Oh, damn. Yeah, I know. I couldn't even get it. 14. Yep.
It's rookie,
14.
right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Number 3. Okay. At what number is RSI oversold according to most traders?
That was a tricky one.
Salim got that.
Salim. Okay, corruption.
Okay. Number 4. What type of indicator is RSI?
Wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Rookie got it.
Rookie was quick. Yeah, we may want to explain number 3 there. I agree with standard. And 70 is overbought. 30 is oversold. And I made it a bit tricky and took oversold instead of overbought, because I knew some people would jump on the 70.
And if you ever get confused, just kind of think about it as if you're selling something, it's going to go down. So it's that lower number that's oversold.
You missed a point for Danglewood, Kron.
What? I did? Oh.
I did.
Where?
It's
Where?
also-
Rookie got
No,
that.
Rookie was first on my screen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Rookie was first. Okay.
Yeah.
Not on my screen.
Yeah, Rookie did get it. Let me see. Yep. Let's see. Okay. Next question.
Number 5.
On for number 5. Okay. So number 5. Okay. How can now I love it. Okay. How can RSI, and remember this is more than one more than one word answer, okay? So the one who best describes it. How can RSI help identify support and resistance?
Yeah, this is more an open answer question.
You're better at this, Kron, so you could tell me who gets the gets it right best first.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a point to Danglewood there.
Price levels at 30.70.
Yep. As we saw in the example there, it was when it reached around 70, it kept going back. So that can be one way to look at it. The book tells a bit more about it than we did in the class, and Danglewood deserves a point since.
I'll read the like longer version of the answer. If RSI is high and still bounces off the same place line, could indicate support and resistance. So it's basically the same thing. Yes. What book are you referring to? So each week, we're basically reading a book in this class. And each week I post pre-homework pages in class syllabus. In homework syllabus, I post the pages that we're going to cover in class. So you're supposed to read those pages before you come to class. We do the PowerPoint to kind of cover the pages and see any questions. And then we do a quiz based off those pages. So you can see the pages posted weekly under the homework section. And if you want, you could DM Kron and he'll give you a digital copy of the book. My pleasure. Okay, and then number 6, let's see. What other indicator is commonly used with RSI? MACD. Yes. You got it? Okay. Number 7. RSI ranges between what numbers?
This is a trick question. Oh,
0 to 100. Danglewood got it. Yes.
that's a trick question.
And last but not least, if RSI is at 0 on the daily chart with the standard settings, what does that tell us? No trading. Kron, you're better at this one.
Keep going.
Okay, keep going.
To help you out, what does it tell us looking back? Not at what's happening in this second. Yeah, Yoda got a point. But
Oh, that's right.
yeah, it's hard to.
Bo Yodo, you got the point. Okay, that's funny. All right, so who is our?
It really means the more correct answer I was looking for. If RSI is at 0, it means that the stock price has fallen in all of the 14 trading days. It happened a lot. But I think we are going to give Yoda a point there. I liked his answer.
Very nice, very nice. So who is the final winner? So
Oh wait, that point was wrong. Sorry, I had an old. But yeah,
who is it?
Rookie is a mod, it's Danglewood.
Okay, so Danglewood wins.
Yeah.
Wait, they all have one. Brian has one, Danglewood has one, Yoda.
No, he has 2. I copied the wrong. He has 2.
Okay, he has 2.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. Congratulations, Danglewood. Our mods play because they are learning. They like to participate. Them participating helps, members to participate. And they're learning as well. They love it, so they participate. But they want, some of them want to take themselves out of the running for the cash prize. And so Rookie's super awesome for that. But she still plays, and I love that. So thank you, Rookie. And she hates shout outs, but I'm giving her one anyways. Danglewood, you kicked butt. Yeah. Awesome.
And we are done on time.
I know we're done on time with 1 minute to spare. Well, that's because I didn't.
You said it. You said it.
Yeah, I know. I'm the one that makes us run over. Did we have any final thoughts or questions? No crash prize for the most creative. No. And it's the most quiz winners each quarter. Because remember, we're using our own money, so I wish we could give a cash prize each quiz. Give me, maybe another year in the market, getting more successful, and I'll be able to do that. But for right now, we do it once a quarter. I know. Confirm that you use 113 and 200 EMA on SPY. Yes. My pleasure.
What time frames are you on? The 5 and 15 minutes?
5 minute. I mainly am on the 5 minute.
Okay.
So when I say about the EMAs crossing and it alternates, that is on the 5 minute only. So when I'm talking about it, I'm talking always about the 5 minute. Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Kron, because I don't want them looking at a different time frame and seeing it cross and think it's going to go one way. It's the 5 minute always.
Yeah, and since we have a lot of people that are not as active in the trading round, since we have we have 0 minutes left now, but we are not so much over time. If you want, can you please just type in the chat what kind of trader you are? If you do scalps or day trades. Myself, I do 80% swing trades and 20% day trades, kind of. But
yes.
I'm just a bit curious how people trade.
And another thing, if you don't feel comfortable chatting, in regular chat on the trading ground or fun chat, what have you, we completely understand. But I mean, please join us. You're going to learn so much there. Don't feel uncomfortable talking. I mean, half the time I'm confused. And I'll say it. I'll be like, huh? I don't know what you're saying, or let me go Google that word. So don't feel like, oh no, it's above my level, I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to say anything. Please do, because that's how we're going to learn. We want this is a teaching server. So I want everyone to please, if you feel comfortable, please join us in chat. We want you there. We want to learn. We want that camaraderie. We want to support each other. That's, learning and growing together.
Oh, this is a good question. Do you use higher time frames to get macro picture of
Are you
overall direction?
or everyone in general, Roman? Everyone.
Yeah.
So I stick to the 5 minute. Oh, I'm glad Hammer is saying something. Kron, don't forget he had a good idea for a poll to put out. So y'all will be seeing a poll coming out soon that Kron is gonna put when we do polls. Please, please, please participate. You know, it helps different things we're trying to do.
Yep. And
Roman, to answer your question, personally, I look at the macro picture and then slowly move down in time frames as I'm like charting.
yep.
So I'll find the larger trend and then move down and see what minor trends there are.
Yeah. I start with usually the daily, then I look, then I go further out to the weekly since I'm mainly a swing trader. But then I, of course, look at the hourly and 4 hours and even down to the 5 minutes when it's time to get out. Okay, great. I love that the chat is being so active today. And you can always come to us in the DMs if you have any suggestions, something you want us to change. We try, because we have seen other discords kind of implode from the inside, so we are quite open with everything that's going on, for better or worse. Sometimes you will see our meltdowns and stuff, but we always take your input very, very seriously, and we want to do this as open and as user friendly as possible. So if you have any ideas, feel free to share them with everyone or come to us owners or the mods in the DMs.
Yes, and remember, you know, this server is for y'all. These classes are for y'all. I mean, it's yours. And so any feedback, hey, I didn't like that, or maybe you could do it this way, or hey, here's an extra idea of something you could do. You know, the quizzes at the end was actually a suggestion by a member, and it's been a big hit. So please, please, please always share your ideas and suggestions with us. We are here for you.
Okay, so good luck trading this week. It's been rough. It's remember that we are in a rough market period. So I'm very proud of all of you, because a lot of people have actually dropped off trading altogether. But we are fighting, and remember, it's always better to live and fight another day.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep. Okay. So take care.
Enjoy the
Bye-bye.
rest of that Sunday.